Hey, welcome everyone to the From the Shadows podcast. I'm your host, Shane Grove. And before we get started with this week's episode, I just want to remind everybody if you want more of the From the Shadows podcast, and come on, who doesn't want more of the From the Shadows podcast? Go to our website, fromtheshadowspodcast.com. There's links to all of our social media, Facebook, Instagram, X, our Patreon page, all the good stuff. But the most important thing is the contact button. The contact button, you hit that, you can send me an email, tell me about an experience or a sighting or anything that you had. Yeah, I don't want to hear about lunch or anything like that, but anything else that you had that's pertinent to the show, go ahead and send me an email. If you have a good story and you want to come on, that's where you get a hold of us. If you also want to get a hold of me separately, you can find me at Shane Grove Author on Instagram or any of those social media pages. Just send us a message. But yeah, if you got a good story, please get a hold of us. And that's exactly what this week's guests did. They got a hold of me on, I think it was an email, right? I don't know. I lose track. I don't want to say that after I told everybody to get a hold of me that way and then say I lost track. But they got a hold of me. So joining us are Pat and Joe from the great state of Louisiana. They have a wild story to share, and I can't wait for everybody to hear it and see it. So, guys, welcome to the From the Shadows podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
No, it's my pleasure. I feel honored to have you guys on, especially, with the story that you guys are going to share with all of our listeners. And, but tell me how you guys, like this is I think this is a Dogman story that we're going to talk about, but you guys are Bigfooters. So how do a couple of unassuming Bigfooters end up with a Dogman story?
Well,
go ahead.
We'll go back. We've been Bigfooting for quite a while. We have a little group that we met, and they decided we would go to a meet and greet at LBL, and we didn't know at the time because it was scheduled way ahead of the time we was going. This last March in 25, and so. When it came up and we was going to meet up there, the weather was horrible with tornadoes, 3-inch hail in Missouri, which is not far. We go through Missouri to get to LBL, and so we didn't know all this was going to happen, but we decided to go anyway. And by the time we went up to West Memphis, and we was rolling into a motel to spend the night. And then roll into next day we were going into LBL to our cabin and meet the guys down there. And we got a phone call said they had canceled the meet and greet. And we all sit there. And I said, "Look, guys, we'll bite the bullet and we'll turn and go back home if that's what y'all want to do." And they said no. It was 7 of us at the time going, and they said no, we're going to go and go. Okay, so we let them on up there. That. I think that was a Friday time we got there, and we had the weather had gotten rough. We had to get them cut trees out of the way to get them down to where the cabin was, and so the first night we was able to do a little tumbling, but we didn't see nothing but a bunch of deer. And so the next day the weather kind of broke. It got bad that night, but it broke the next day. So we got out, we went around, and we went looking all over and visiting the park. In places, just to see different sites and stuff. So I don't know. It was later on in the evening they decided they want to go to a place across the river from the park. It's some kind of fancy restaurant in Grand Rivers, and so that's where we went to eat. And we all sit down and eat there. And then we got back to the cabin about 9:30 or something like that. And by 10:30, we decided this is our last night here. It was on Saturday night. And said, we're going to take his thermal out. We're going to look around, and y'all going to get to see what it looks like and all. We got to go now. oh, we ain't gonna have a chance because everybody's leaving Sunday. And so we all hopped. Well, we had two different vehicles. One person stayed behind. We had three in each truck. We had Bud, me and Pat in one truck, and we had three other participants in the other truck, that friends of ours that was there. And they went in the other truck, and we just took off. And Pat started filming it, and it started from there. Go ahead, you want to tell them about it?
Okay, but the thing is what we want to emphasize too is the weather was horrific, and we actually caught in between storms. The weather just happened to break. I mean, there was severe flooding when you get into the lower Delta, around Mississippi, Arkansas, all in Missouri. I think at one point there was parts of LBL that was actually closed at one time as well. It was severe. I mean, we had to go. Our one friends had called and said they were on their way through, but a tree had fell. I mean, the wind was blowing fiercely, and we had to go up and actually get a chainsaw and cut them out, and so they could get through over to the cabin where we were at. But that evening we decided we split up. There was 3 in one truck and then 3 in another. And so it was, we went about our way. We followed one another through there. They held back because they were looking at different things. Due to the weather, I guess the animals had been in for a while. So a lot of when the weather broke, a lot of animals were out feeding. I do remember with the window down, it was probably, mid 50s. It had warmed back up a little bit. And I do remember wearing a coat. And it happened to be a full moon the night before and a lunar eclipse that I found out later on. Those two things. So it's something that I have written down and I have noted. And so you were able to see relatively well. I mean, Bud he was interested, the gentleman that was with us, he was interested in purchasing the same thermal that we have. And so he wanted to go out and let's look at it. Let's try it out. So we were taking it back and forth basically and sharing it. I was in the back seat behind Joe. Bud was in the front seat up there with Joe in the passenger seat. And what we did, the thermal has Wi-Fi capabilities. So Joe is able to put it on his phone. And whatever I saw in the camera per se, they were able to see. Whoever was operating it, the others were able to see what was going on. So there was several animals out feeding. We were watching that. We went through, we could see the owls and the sockets on the owls. You could see all of that. And we even witnessed a coyote hunt. We got pretty far back in there on the back roads. This is 10 o'clock at night. And like I said, in between storms, severe storms that they had. It wasn't just the little ones. A lot of tornadoes. It just happened to miss us a little bit. We were supposed to get a direct hit. But as we were driving down one of the back roads, just 2-lane back road, all woods, some of it had like the cornfields where the corn had been cut. So it was all stubbled. There was no leaves on the trees, it being the middle of April. So, March. So there was no leaves on the trees yet. So everything was pretty bare. We went around a corner. I remember us going around a curve, and as we opened up, and you could see the beginning of the cornfield, and then there's woods. And we found out later on there's a cornfield behind that. We watched it. Like I said, we watched a coyote hunt. We watched it stalking a deer. And it was very interesting to be able to observe all this and them not see us or pay us much attention. We weren't a threat to them, to watch all these different animals out feeding. Well, as we went around the corner in the curve there, I caught a large heat signature, very, very tall. And it seemed wide. It was just very upright. It was very tall. We figured, Joe estimated it was probably maybe 200 yards away. Yeah, and we could see a straight line over that way because it was all clearing there at that point, and it was back behind a wood line. And I said, "Hey guys, I got something." They saw it too. They were both able to see exactly what I saw, so I honed in on that and was trying to stay focused on that. And we could see the movement; it was moving, and it was probably we estimated it being probably 70 yards off the road.
Time we got up there to it.
Right. So when we pulled up to it, there was, I remember it being a stubbled area of where the cornfield was, just a small area right there. Then there's a wood line, and come to find out there's a big creek there. Now, I don't know, like you said, you have never been to LBL, so the creeks are rather deep and wide. I mean, it's a 6 foot, 7 foot drop, maybe even more on some. And like I said, they were full of water too. So there was no where somebody could cross it. And standing on the other side of that creek was a heat signature. And I asked Joe and Joe is able to control the thermal on the phone. All I have to do is just hold it up and focus in on it.
Okay.
He can zoom in and zoom out. He can record. He can do all of that. So in the beginning, I told him when we pulled up on it, it was something different. I knew it didn't look human.
It was upright too. Everything else in the woods that you look at's on 4 legs is going to be horizontal. Right. And this was, a vertical.
Definitely.
So I want to ask quick. So when you guys first caught it, as you're coming around, you thought it was about 200 yards away.
Yes.
And then you kept getting closer. And when you finally got parallel with it in the wood or in the tree line, it was about 75 yards from you. Okay.
That's what we both, all three of us, after Bud got out, he was the one saying, from best I can say, it's a creek over there.
Right.
And it's about 70, 75 yards, and he was correct. He was, he's ex-military, had a good eye for detail, and he was correct in about the yardage time we got to measuring it and doing this and that after the fact. Well, he was dead on. And it was, those creek bottoms like that, I guess those farmers, they farm both sides of the flat and the creek bed was left like a spoil bank, and a little buffer zone is left in between them fields. So the erosion or something may not be that bad or whatever. And that's what we was at. We come out of the hills and went down into the edge of the creek bottoms, and that's where all your old farmers and all had it years ago. And they were still farming it. That were remnants of the corn stubble from 24 and 25, I guess. And that's what all you could see, little corn stubble sticking up.
Right. So that's why I asked Joe, I said, hit record. And he started recording. Now, when we like I said, we honed in on it and got up there pretty quick, trying to locate what it was. And I knew it was something. I knew we had something. I just didn't know what it was. Start recording. Start recording. Okay. 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 Okay, it stopped. Whatever it is, it stopped. I see it turning its head or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, look.
Right there.
What the fuck is that?
Look, he's just trying to full body towards the thing.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah.
What the fuck is that? Zoom in. Zoom in. Hey, I'm being recorded on cousin. What is that? What is that? Okay, back it back out. Back it. Back it back out. Back it out. Back me out, back out. Okay, this thing is watching us. It's looking at me. It appeared to try and hide from what I could see, and it was looking directly at us. Whatever it was, I don't know why. If it was human, why would it be on the other side of a bank where you couldn't even cross? Because I know the water had to have been high with all the flooding that had been going on. I know that Bud had stepped out of the truck. He was going to walk towards it. He took the camera, at one point, took the camera away from me and walked towards it, and he said that his foot sunk up to his ankles. It was sheer mud. So that prevented us from going out there, which it's probably just as well because we were surrounded by a hillside. I don't know what else could have been around us as well, because it seemed like there was more than one. When we go back and we look at, and when we were analyzing the film and had it analyzed, is all I know is it stood there and it watched us. When Bud got out of the truck, it turned its back to him, and when it appeared to try and hide. And I did notice that. We did see that. Joe recorded for 10 minutes and he stopped the recording. And I said, "Why did you stop the recording? Turn it back on." And he said, "Well, it figured if they had something that, to be able to get it off of there was going to be difficult." So he hit the record button and he turned it back on. We have a total of 16 minutes of whatever it was. We're the one that chose to leave. It did not. It was like I said, it stood upright the entire time. When we first saw it and I hit recording, it was hiding from us, and it turned its back and it squared up, just straight up squared up at us on the other side of the creek. Why it didn't leave, why it didn't run off, I don't know. Why would a human be out there at 10 o'clock at night during all these severe storms? I mean, they were calling for
hail again?
Softball size hail, not golf ball, softball. We had to move all of our vehicles underneath sheds, and everybody that was camping there did, to try and find a place because of the damage to our vehicles. We just happened to get lucky that it panned off another way.
Just slightly north of us.
And we avoided all of that. But when it was standing there, everything is slow calculated. There's a turn. If anybody looks, there's a slow turn there. And at one point, it has its hand up over its face.
Not over its eyes. It's mostly just this.
Yeah, it's over its face. And everything is slow and calculated. On all the turns, if you go back and you really look at it, it took me a month to look at it. I don't know what it is. All I know is we would like to share it. When Bud got out of the truck, it hid from Bud. It turned its back to Bud. When he got back in the truck, it turned back around. And like I said, it just stood there and watched us. We didn't hear anything. Or anything like that. Excuse me, we've been sick. When we chose to leave, it walked. There was something with it. It's holding something. We don't know what it is, but there's something that's unusual about it. I don't know what it is. I think it's holding something because, like I said, I studied it for a month or two, before we pretty much showed it to anyone, trying to figure out what this thing was. I got it. Yes, it is. That's it.
Now, does the thing it's holding, does it give off a heat signature as well?
Yes. Yes. You can see when Bud got out of the truck too, it turned sideways, and I sent you that film too.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the heat signature on the abdomen.
Mm-hmm. And so anybody who's watched this far along in the video, we're going to be, we've put in clips all along the way here to coincide with some of the stuff that you're saying. And so all we can do is say, same as you guys, check out these clips based on the circumstances and, where you guys were and what you were doing when you took these clips. And if Bud goes out there and sinks up to his ankle in the mud,
right,
you're probably right. That's not a human being out there standing. So, okay, so how big do you think? Because you guys are experienced Bigfooters, right?
Right.
I mean, you guys have
somewhat, yes.
Yeah, somewhat more so than the average Joe.
Sure.
So, what makes you think that this was not a Bigfoot, and how big do you think this was then? From going back out and trying to recreate.
Like I say, I'm 6'2", and just looking at it and the distance and all, it could be my height, a little bit higher, but it would be around that height. Now the deal of it is we're still not 100% on exactly where it was standing, but I feel like this last time we went back to recon it again that we got close than we were before. I worried about that, worried about how big this thing was, and until you get to the end and see what you see at the end of the film, then the main subject really, it could be, I'm just saying it could be a female. We kept saying a dog person is what I called it myself personally. I said, if this thing ain't got tennis shoes on, we got something. I don't know what it is, but if it ain't got shoes on, we got something. And that's just the way I said it. It's being jokester that I am in a truck. I said, this isn't something we were expecting to get, and we damn sure weren't expecting to get anything. If we got lucky and got anything, we thought maybe it'd be a Bigfoot. But when I'm watching the film, and every now and then you see like knots up on top of his head, like his ears there. That's what said. She didn't believe it. I said, go back and look. It looks to me like it's got ears on his head, not on the side, but up like that.
Well, in the picture that you guys shared with me that we'll share right here, that definitely is like, whoa, that's got.
Now that's taken from the film.
Yeah.
And it's been blowed up and all that, but
it's a still. That's all it is. No filters.
You cannot see it while it's rolling. But when you stop it and you go frame by frame or in second by second, really it's what you're going by second, you start picking those little things up. And it has the appearance of all kind of stuff during the film when you slow it down. To be honest with you, nobody's broke it down more than we have, and we're two seniors that don't know nothing about nothing. But what you see, 99% of it is what we broke down. Now, just like the end, catching it at the end, that's what we stopped and found. People was overlooking that. They thought it, was just one thing, and kind of we did too. Till you get to looking at it for months at the end, and you figure out, well, it ain't just one.
Well, we had a hard time trying to get any kind of help with it. Like I said, you have the Bigfoot community and you have the Dogman community. So where do we fit? Because we don't really know what it is. Some say it's dog, some a dog man, some say it's a Bigfoot. I don't know.
We just call it cryptid. It's something cryptid. If you want to say it, for sure, you can't really say. So,
Well, and we had a pretty
Right.
good discussion the other day about why it would make no sense for a human being to be out there.
No. Definitely.
And even though you guys were out there, but you guys were on the road in the car. You
Yeah,
guys
and I had no business being out there,
And
really.
after
Yeah.
10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, but then to think that it had a something smaller than it, so you got to think it's a kid or at least a younger version of whatever it is, and why would you have a kid out there 75 yards in a field, especially because for anybody that's watching this and doesn't know what LBL is, it's the land between the lakes down in Kentucky. It is a famous place for Bigfoot and Dogman activity. Okay, that's what it's known for. And it's infamous for probably one of the most legendary. I mean, is it an urban legend? Did it really happen? Who knows at this point? But it's the story of the family and the camper that got attacked
Right.
and basically annihilated by a couple of Dogman creatures. And supposedly there's,
It's got lots of stories. It's
Lots of stories.
The owner, the game warden or whatever he is going along, and he sees the couple on the bank, and his dying testimony that this went down, that he could see it going down and went down. But
yeah, I've heard that same story. So the point is, that's the lore around this place. You would not think a reasonable adult is going to be at 10 o'clock at night anywhere off the road, 75 yards in the woods or in a field with a kid. I mean,
and flooding. And
flooding. Like I say, it was no sign of a gun, no sign of. I've been looking for the picture I had that showed like eye shine, and she mentioned it. I see eye shine when we went back to the footage. So it takes away the human capabilities when you start seeing eye shine. The only time we show eye shine is the red of a picture that's point blank, not across the woods over there.
Now on one of the videos that I sent you, where we're standing sideways, and you can see the heat signature on the abdomen. If you'll focus on the head, which is extremely large, which that doesn't look human at all, you will see the orbital eye sockets, the heat signature off of those, that gives off like almost like an eye shine. Now, when we were there, did we see eye shine, or did I experience eye shine? No, we didn't hear anything. We didn't see anything. If we hadn't had the thermal, we wouldn't have even captured that. We're like us on the Dogman thing. We're not going. I prefer myself. It took me a long time to try and figure out what it was and study it and things like that. I still don't know 100% if that's what it is. But like I said, we're not here to convince anybody or try and sway anybody. We're here to share.
Present what we got.
Present what we've got. Say, hey, this is what we found. And share it with the public. The people need to know. People camp there. It's not just there. It's other areas as well. Because we are Bigfooters too. There's other areas as well. We send our children out there and things like that. Now, what we did experience, now when we went there too, we went up the north end or whatever, and they had, we were in the gift shop, and we were talking. I was talking to one of the ladies, and just out of the blue, I said to her, "So how many Dogman reports you get up here?"
No, you asked the Bigfoot.
Bigfoot reports. She said, "We don't get Bigfoot reports. We get Dogman. We've got several Dogman reports." She should have never said that.
She said it.
Yeah, it's like
the government.
It come right out.
Because I've heard people ask those same people that you're referring to, and they're always very coy with them. And
no, they weren't. She wasn't. It just spilled right out of her mouth. I caught her just right.
I don't know if she was just a person that was short-term employee for the summer or something like that.
Which you might have been after she answered that question.
Oh, maybe. And
Sure.
let me tell you another thing, too. When we went back there in April, we went back April 17th, the three of us, Bud, that was with us, and Joe and myself. Now, we were pretty much done with like a recon. We went out
That's all we went
specifically
for to recon this
for the weekend.
place and try to make sense of it.
Now,
Now,
we drove 10 hours.
Now, we said this before. Joe, do you want to hold up your thermal and describe it so the thermal geeks know, they'll know.
I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
It's an AGN 25 by 384. I don't know if I can get it right.
There you
Okay.
Yeah, right there. Yeah.
25 by 384 Rattler V2 thermal rifle scope. It's a Picatinny rail that I put on it after I put this little cantilever mounting system on there. It would no longer fit on the tripod without me making a threaded attachment for that. And that's what we were using. It's a thermal rifle scope. It's what it is. It has audio and video capabilities to Wi-Fi it to your phone. Everything we got the night we got it was all recorded by this unit here. That's
Okay.
kind of the reason why we bought this particular unit, because we had a simpler one, but we never could get it to work back to anything without hardwiring it to something. So we never did hardly use it. Not like this, but this was what we had, and it's been a costly adventure, but it was well worth the money after what we got with it.
Yeah, and it's great
The
that
weather was just about.
It's great that it catches audio, because in that first video,
Oh,
I've never heard anybody swear the way I heard Pat swear in that video.
I tell you what, yes. And the thing is I should have sent you the version that you don't have the sound on it and stuff. I'm sorry, I normally don't do that. But the thing, but that's what makes it so authentic.
That's what I'm saying.
All it out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm sitting here.
We
I'm like,
wanted it all out. I said that's killing it. If you don't leave it authentic and just
Right.
the nervousness, the excitement, and the unaware of what you're looking at.
I slurred.
No, you was pretty plain in what you said.
No. I'm talking.
You wasn't slurring anything.
No, not at that
yeah, those swear words were
Right.
real.
Those were very clear, and that's a sure sign that somebody caught something. It really is, that they're not faking something when they do something like that. Now, during that time, though, we said some crazy things. We don't even know why we did that. I can tell you that I was in shock, and I felt under pressure and under a little bit of stress. I'm the only line of sight to this thing. Now we're pulled up right across from it. And at that point, we didn't know that there was a creek right there. I just knew it was standing on the other side of the wood line.
Mm-hmm.
And so we wouldn't be able to see anything like that coming at us. And I would, like I said, I had to focus and just bear with it and get down on it and watch it, because that was our only line of sight. And the vehicle was never put into park. So you are getting a little bit of vibration. It's kind of hard to hold something like that for a long period of time.
We totally lost the whole thing by handing the camera off and just all kind of stuff. We wanted to show, let somebody see it besides Pat, and we were trying to share everything. But in doing so, the creature plainly turns, whatever it was, it turns away from the person getting out and standing by the truck, and it's just, we did everything we could to lose the
Exactly.
the footage that we got. It's a wonder we didn't get but a second, because I still think it had reasons why it just couldn't jump and leave. Like something was holding it back. That's what I think. I said, I'll see it at the end. It's walking down, a hill, I go back and look. Before we make a move, I'm thinking about where's the guy parked at, if that's what it is. Because I know it's, right up here, that'd be the place to park if he's walking in that field back there and all. But with the rain and all, wasn't nobody nowhere. It wasn't nobody out hardly. Most people was in because the storm was going to hit so bad. It wasn't nobody around out. The camp was all dried up as far as nobody out doing anything.
Right. And put it this way. Also, at about 4:00 that morning, another storm come through again that hit pretty hard. So it was actually pointless to go out there and try and look for tracks or anything like that, because they would have been all washed away. And we wouldn't have been able to even get across over there to start with. We would have had to wade through water.
Not only that, not knowing what you that was there, the more than it was something that could give you a bad day. Where you go, you don't know how far it went. It could have just went and jumped in behind a bush, and you didn't know. You could have walked over there and felt threatened. It would have been a bad day for all of us. They broke and run toward the truck.
Well, and to be totally honest,
it's risky.
Even if it was a human, that's still pretty creepy.
Yeah,
to be out there, and for them to obviously, I mean, it seemed pretty obvious that this thing was aware that you could see it, or that or it was aware that you were there, whether it knew you could see it or not. I
think it knew at a certain point.
For it to be turned when we pulled up there. Now, if you can imagine a big signature behind 2 or 3 trees, that's what shows up first. It's upright, it's tall looking on the thermal, but it looks like the glow of it is behind a couple trees, and it's pretty big. And so that only happens for just a millisecond, and we done moved up, and we lost it. And then she gets back on it. We go around the curve and we're just 10 mile an hour up the road going slow. And she picks up on the signature, but it's not that bright. Well, how does it know we can even see it unless it's seeing something that we don't know? How it can even, my point is it's turned backwards to us like it's using its behind brush or using the backside of its body to hide its heat signature light.
Well, another thing too is
you don't see good that turns around and faces the truck in the video.
Right.
Well,
I'm thinking it was wet. Whatever it was,
could have been wet.
I'm thinking it was wet. Also, there was high humidity, and I've had enough experience with a few of the thermals that humidity does affect these cameras.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a little bit of fog right in there too along that bank.
A lot of moisture.
Right. Yeah, a lot of moisture in the air. So it does affect those. We don't know what it is. All I know is people can we're presenting the evidence for people to see. People say, "Where's your evidence? Where your evidence?" Here it is. But we don't know what it is. We've caught something. If you can answer our questions, we'd be thankful. Get a hold of us.
Well, I think from talking with you guys, and there is a school of thought that these creatures identify us as similar to them. Okay, so
right.
if especially like Bigfoot, I think they think since they can see us at night, that we can see them at night. Okay, without there's no way they know what a thermal is. Okay, they did this. There's no concept. So if this thing sees you guys coming and turns its back, okay, maybe that's its way of like, well, that's my camouflage. Not having any idea that you're looking at its heat, but that you're just looking at the back of its coat that might blend in with the bushes and stuff. And but what really, like I said, if that's a human, though, and it knows you're there because you can kind of tell that it turns, and it doesn't say anything for like 15 minutes, and it just sits out there. That would freak me out more than it makes less sense. I shouldn't say it freaks me out. It'd make me feel better at the end that it was a guy, it just trying to hide rather than a 7-foot tall dog creature, but. It's weird. that 15 minutes it wouldn't say anything. And then so you
Right.
guys
in the middle of nowhere.
yeah, so you guys are the ones then that decide we've had enough. It's not going to do anything. We're leaving.
We
didn't
just
want
wanted to move. We didn't realize the whole time because we're so, like for better word, it seems like we're scatterbrained at this point. The whole time we're talking, she's nervous and talking, and we're talking all kind of crazy stuff.
I hollered at it.
And Bud even comes out to the thing and says, maybe it's a stump. Well, the stump has moved 2 or 3 times. We're not even realizing he's moving this away, then back that away. Every time we do something irregular with the camera, getting in and out of the truck, it's moved. Time you get back on it, it does quite a bit of stuff that it was giving our interest, but we act like we can't even see it. And then I said, well, I'll pull up a little bit and then we'll see if it moves. Well, you hear my brake at the very end of it, you hear the brake squeak. And it already evidently heard it because when we turned back, I said, get back on the subject. And she's saying, I'm trying to find a spot to mark this. And then we get back on the subject. They done moved up. They were fitting to be gone. We were fitting to lose the whole end shot. But luckily we got back on it in time. And then when I let off on the brake and it squeaked and they knew I'm moving, I guess, well, then they take off walking down the hill and across the back. It's hard to see it. It took a month to see some of that stuff.
Right. Another thing is too, is when we went back to recon it, we did all that. We were all out there and it was daylight and there was a few leaves on the trees at that point. But what people don't know too, is we were getting ready to leave. We started back to the truck. There was a couple cars that went by, an older woman come by herself. Out in the middle of LBL, she wanted to know what we were doing.
Did you ask her what she was doing?
What I did is when I saw her coming and stuff, I went straight to the truck because I said, this doesn't sound right. She's got him talking. And what I did is I basically kind of hid in the truck because I figured there was more to it. Something told me that there was more to this woman than just being nosy.
You said she had the only maps. It had 100 people lost. It had these maps. It was left from the 60s or something. It had all the old sites that come and gone and all that. She was one of the few people that had the maps left for this. So that, we're thinking, well, you're saying a lot of things like somebody that's been working in the park for a long time would say, but she didn't admit to that.
She said she didn't work there. I'm not an employee of the park.
And then when it came up about the other 2 cryptids that supposedly live around there, it's how she just put it off like
there's no such thing.
There's no such thing as that. So
that was all odd. And she had her hands covered. She had gloves on. And this is like.
No, but that was so heat. I think it's because she had the spots on the back of her hands.
Well, I don't know what it was, but all I know is she was an older woman by herself. And she was asking a whole lot of crazy questions and giving out a whole lot of crazy information.
We've been back.
So
we stayed at that
weird.
cabin area twice, 3 times. We never seen her again. We've been back 4 times or so since the sighting, and 3 more times we've been back, never seen her again. So we don't know, but it was awful strange that day.
Did she even really exist?
Well, that's the whole thing. Did she? Well, you never know. You never know.
I don't know. She could have been a ghost rider, but now that ain't the only thing we had happen at LBL. Me and this one's over camping, and we had stuff happening different from that night.
Well, there must be a reason. So you guys decided to go to LBL. So what was other than just testing out the thermal? I mean, you guys must have been going up there to go squatching or something, right?
2024, we went up there to a meet and greet with the
woodwalkers.
With the woodwalker bunch that's, we were tied in with that bunch. And it was the lunar eclipse or solar eclipse?
It was during the solar eclipse. That they had.
Of 2024. That's how I knew it was, because it happened on a Monday, and we were going to stay for the eclipse up there because it was going to come through up there better than it would be at home. And so we stayed the extra night by ourselves, or what we thought was going to be by ourselves. And we left on a Tuesday. Everybody left Sunday that from up there that was at the meet and greet. And we'd go out every evening. When we go out, it was just all kind of game over there. It was deer and turkeys running around there everywhere around this area. And I told them, I said, we're going to go back out tonight with our thermals. The first night we went there, we made a big round through there after dark. Well, there's deer and stuff everywhere. With no turkeys, of course, so they up in the trees during the nighttime. But it was deer everywhere, and it was this and that everywhere. And then our other party that had to cut the tree for, they hadn't got there, so they didn't get to go that night. The only time they were going to get to go was the next night was a Saturday night. And so that's kind of the reason why we all got together and split up and decided we'd go back and go. I didn't really feel like it that night. Come my hair saying, man, I just give out from driving and doing this and that. But we went, and it paid off. Just later we was told the weather had a lot to do with them things moving, whatever it was moving there. It could have a lot to do with it.
During storms, we've heard that. That's one of the things we have heard about these, about the cryptids that we have heard. But we have basically just went with another group. There was going to be a small meet and greet up there that we knew some of those people. And our one friends were going, and it was an opportunity for us just to get together.
Mm-hmm.
And
for opportunity, they drive 7 hours coming south, and we went 10 hours going north.
I mean, we drove 10 hours. We just do it just to hang out with some friends.
I drive 10 hours to go to the beach, not to go into the...
Well, this is already over 10 hours dragging off up to LBL from Louisiana, and from Ohio is from where they live at. It's about 7 hours to go down there, so it's a pretty good haul for anybody.
Well, we really don't. When we go to these meet and greets and stuff like that, we're going to hang out with our friends and visit and things like that. We don't actually go out and do any of that kind of stuff. I can do that stuff at home. That's how I look at it. And we go to Alabama quite a bit. So there's, so, and we're 20 minutes from the National Forest here and have had multiple experiences here. I can stay home and do all that. We're just visiting with the groups of our friends and hanging out with them. And that's the reason we basically went, and Bud wanted to look at the thermal and test out the thermal and see we were trading it back and forth. Passing it back and forth. It was lucky it just happened to catch it because it was on my side of the road. And he had just handed it back.
Well, let me ask you this. So obviously you believed in Bigfoot, and I think you said you've had your own encounters.
Yes.
What was your thoughts on the possibility of something like a Dogman existing?
Me personally, I didn't believe in Dogman. I go, no, because we're like 2.5 hours from Falk, Arkansas, actually, and I have had a sighting. And we have had some visuals with things, and had a camper shaken and different things like that. We've had those experiences out in the National Forest camping by ourselves. We've had all that, and the howls and the screams and all of that. But I know,
we've been trailed off to the side,
all of that
out and about.
But I didn't believe in Dogman, and I'm still. But the whole thing is what has ears? The shape tells me something else. Mm-hmm. Now, like I said, I wanted to give a special thanks really to Jody Cook, because Jody Cook took an interest in us. And he wanted to see our film, and it was analyzed by a team. There was a team that all analyzed and looked at our film, the entire film. It's pointless to put it all up because it is shaky, and we choose not to have it stabilized because we didn't like the result of what we got, and to leave it more authentic. I think you're better off. I just leave it raw.
Jody Cook and them interpretation of what they seen that we sent to them, it's probably not either one of ours exact interpretation of that. I just want to say, they have their own interpretation of the film, and we, in the stills and that kind of thing. And but if it wouldn't be for them, on the other hand, we wouldn't have nobody take interest in this thing at all.
Well, what it was is
at that time anyway.
Right, is Sibylla Irwin did a drawing, a sketch, and she did a sketch of one of our of the one photo, and we caught a little bit of flack on that. I think a little bit. She sketched what she saw, and what she saw on the photo, and I'm the one that pulled that photo off of there. I don't know how to do anything like that. I barely even knew how to get on Zoom tonight. So
I will attest to that statement. But
right.
You managed, but it was
right. But the thing is we're not able to do all that kind of stuff. I'm not able to do all of that. I'm just barely able to get by just a little bit. But he's been a big supporter of us. He actually went on Coast to Coast and told our story. They had us on. We've been on, like I said, a few shows. Like I said, on several shows. We've turned down some. If you believe in one, then you are even open to one, which I am, because I'm an experiencer. I've actually seen, I'm a knower. If you believe in one, you need to believe in all of them or be open to it. Mm-hmm. So my opinion has kind of changed, my beliefs on that what else is out there? We know someone that was at LBL, a woman that was up there, a researcher's wife, that's more of a well-known researcher's wife, that had an experience of a little person. She was by herself in the vehicle. And she said, you would not believe what I saw. And she has nothing to do with the subject. She just happened to be there with her husband. She has nothing to do with the subject. She goes out and takes and does photography. That's it. And she ran across this thing by herself. And someone had a picture of one, some that's off of a reservation, happened to be there. And he said, did it look like this? And showed her a picture. And it was that. She said it was a little person. I didn't believe in none of this. Now, this is all what she had to say. But like I said, that is all hearsay as well. But we were trying to take it a step up and say, okay, this is what we caught now, and just show it to the public, and share it. What are we going to do with it? We're in our 60s. What are we going to do with it? Our kids don't want it.
And many peers will not show.
Our kids don't want it. What are we going to do with it? And the thing is share it. Get the knowledge out there. That's the problem with some of the community. They don't want to share anything because Bigfoot, Dogman, whatever is, it seems like there's a big fad with the Dogman thing now. Now, like I said, I didn't know. I'm from Ohio. I didn't know there was a bunch of Dogman up there. Mm-hmm. I thought it was always the Bigfoot, Sasquatch, the Grass Man, basically, that was up there, and not Dogman.
Yeah, we're getting so many Dogman reports now, and not all of them are. The majority of them are old ones. They're not new ones. They're old ones. Not saying
That's what a guy was telling us with the husband of that lady. He said one of the first reports he ever got, he thought it was a Bigfoot. He had documented everything, and the women kept saying it looked this way, not that way. And he went back and figured his report out, and he had to go back over it to figure out they were talking about a Dogman. They wasn't talking about a Bigfoot.
Right, and
he was in Brian. His brain, he never heard of seeing none of that. Any of that was not even on his. What we didn't know and still don't know is, could it be some that Bigfoot that's got interbreeding or something. They just got weird looking faces and stuff. That's one thing.
Different
the
types,
ears and
maybe.
stuff up on top of the head.
That's where the
else.
goat. That's where the goat man sightings come into place.
Okay, see, well, that's
No,
another one. You can just put that one out there too.
You
You
can
know,
look at that film and you see
there's this
you
sheep
see-
man or
you see
whatever.
all that in it. I can show you stills of different, just sitting there clicking on it and making stills and screen shooting it and all that. It just shows you all kind of stuff. And I don't know if it's your mind playing tricks on you or what, but it's the thing looks like a dog. It always looks like it's got a triangular face with a snout looking. Always looks that way. And people say, well, it's pixelated. It's probably a Bigfoot that. So why don't it? If it looks like a dog and it's pixelated, why ain't it pixelated to more look like? I picture a Bigfoot face kind of like yours and mine, more of a rounded type face and all. I said, why don't it look back that way if it's pixelated? Usually pixelation is going to have problems back and forth. It's going to be a center line, and it's going to look off over here, and it's going to look off over there. But it don't never go to the Bigfoot side. It usually always looks like Dogman or something, like that.
Well, the reason I would say I would tend not to think that it's a Bigfoot is I've never heard of Bigfoot standing still in a place for 15, 20 minutes, basically out in the open,
Yeah, well, they might. I've never.
I mean, at night, well, we
No,
were.
night.
But anybody that's ever, it seems like Bigfoot is well aware that you're looking through a thermal or a piece of equipment at it, because when
they know cameras.
when people have caught them, it's a fleeting them walking or them peeking out from behind a tree. I can't imagine
they do that.
I can't imagine a Bigfoot just going, oh my God, what am I supposed to do? Maybe if I just freeze and close my eyes, they won't see like a kid. I don't know.
It don't sit still though, the whole time that thing, and I don't know if it's controlling another little one, and that's the reason why it's trying to keep it close. But it has a lot of signatures there. I mean, the first time we had a group of ladies sit down in our camper and look at that thing, they said, I see possibly breast on this thing. I see this and I see that.
I even say it in the film. I'm describing.
I'm not going there because I can't really definitely see that. I mean, it don't stick out to me like it does to other people.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't go there with that. I don't necessarily see me a little one in it's holding it. Now we got pictures showing that and all, but I don't know if I could, as far as myself, I just know, and I can guarantee you it's 3 of them there when they leave. But I mean, I can't really see that, so I won't say that.
Mm-hmm.
All I know is I've had lots of thermal pictures of deer and this and that and the other, and they're completely different than what that shows. No matter if you hung them up or you whatever, their signature is completely different than that. It could be because they got wet, but
I believe that's
it was cold enough that night that any amount of heat would have showed up. Even wet heat, it would have showed up. I mean, that thermal will catch it. If you catch it quick enough, you can find a track where somebody's walked. As long as it don't cool off before you can look and follow them just by. And not only that one, there's a lot of them do that. You lean up on your truck and you'll see the imprint of your hand where the heat signature just caught on just that quick, and that thing will pick it up close range.
I see a mane on it. Like I said, the head shape is very odd, even on the thermal at a distance when it's standing sideways. It looked like it had that I don't know what they call that, like with a dog or a wolf or what they say with
we looked at
with Dogman, the back of the head that runs down the back and everything. Now
the hackles is what
okay. But, and the mane, and I can see the hands in one of the photos and things like that, which it showed something holding it with care, not as prey. Prey, they would have thrown it down.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you, I hope that everybody takes a chance to look at all the. Well, we're going to have all the video clips that you sent. the pictures up. We'll put up some of the pictures and video from the daytime so people can get a frame of reference that you guys sent.
We were close in the yardage. We were a little bit off in, I think, exact point of Creek Bank. I think we were just off, and then we had to move up a little bit further this time.
Like a couple feet. That's all it amounts.
I mean, I can look and see where we were standing before to thinking we were right and almost nailed it this time if we didn't nail it.
Mm-hmm.
I went back and it was like it was some skulls, it was bones there, and it was like a glyph on the ground looking deal. It might have been just coincidental either one of them was there, but I did show that to her and I took pictures of it. And it was just like right there about where that was, it was bones on the ground. They were old, been there for a while. You know?
Yeah. But that, like I said, that was a field all back behind there. And why didn't it run? You know, and there was just, and like I said, the heat signature wasn't all white like you would normally see. Like when we saw, well, you know what, the coyotes and stuff.
The buffalo was different too.
Well, they were different colors
too.
They were all different colors there, and that's because of the heat. I mean, because of the weather. They had been wet and things like that. But it wasn't the white heat signature that you normally would see on something. At a distance, it was when I first saw it. That's the only time that I saw it completely white.
Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I just wanted to, we'll wrap this up here and
play it. The best thing to do is play it.
Yeah, we're going to have all this stuff up. We'll have the pictures, and everybody can check it out and just tell us what you think.
That's right.
And
anybody, I think it's some good information in that film that if you believe in anything, or we don't know enough about the subject, no matter which one it is. And if we can learn a little bit from it, it might be something that if somebody take it serious to learn stuff from it. It's been a learning experience for us. It's we're still learning. We're still going back and trying to find different things out. But it's nothing better than just play it and let it play for itself. Show for itself.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you guys reaching out and and feeling like you wanted to come on and share it with our audience, because our audience will, they'll definitely check it out and appreciate getting to see what you guys captured. And Pat, sometime we're going to have you back on and hear that Bigfoot story. So
well, we have and we have audio too.
Oh, okay.
We have quite a bit of audio.
That'll be a good part 2 then.
Some good audio.
Too,
okay.
So. Well,
that is Sasquatch there. That would be all Bigfoot.
All right, cool.
We got LBL Sasquatch stories too, though. We had stuff going around our trailer. There was definitely.
We don't know what that was, but.
But I definitely went out there and took the, I'm always looking. Well, was somebody trying to steal my generator? So I got it changed in the thing, RV and all that. And I'm looking around for tracks and everything else. And what was so bad about it, we had neighbors up on top of the hill that had tents, and down below us had tents. At daylight, they were gone. They packed up and left at daylight. I mean, you don't usually never do that where you camp and you in that big a hurry to get out of there. They were out there like something was just scared the bejeebers out of them.
We want to film what was behind us. As you can see, the ridge. And here's back behind us. And I'm going to walk over a little bit and see if I can't find the location. You can see the creek is just right there. Let's go over here. Remember that this hilltop was right up here from us as well. So I remember we were right in, I believe we may have been right in about here.
We were in a campground that they have known experiences. Several experiences, and we had friends there that were having experiences, and we had an experience there too. Can we say what it was? No, but I can tell you we got something. I don't know what it is with what we showed you. And
Well,
thank you for having us.
Well, that'll be a great part 2. We'll do Bigfoot on part 2. So, but I appreciate you guys sharing all this stuff with us, and
thank you for having us.
and hanging out. And it was fun. It was a great conversation.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of the From the Shadows podcast. Until next time, never shy away from the darkness or what may be lurking in the shadows. We are out.
God only knows what's hiding